It is 9:47 p.m. on a Sunday night, and the glowing screen of a phone lights up a tired face. You refresh your banking app for the third time, staring at the numbers. Even though you got a raise last year, you are still adding up bills and worrying about next month. You find yourself wondering if you just need one more promotion to finally breathe easy. You feel trapped and exhausted, even though you make more money now than ever before. Now imagine someone else who makes the exact same salary. At this exact same moment, they quietly close their laptop and head to bed. They do not check their bank balance because money does not control their mind or their choices anymore. They feel completely safe. The big secret is that the difference between these two lives has nothing to do with how much money they make. Instead, it comes down to one single decision that almost nobody ever talks about. I have spent years obsessing over why so many smart, hardworking people get stuck in this exact trap. To be clear, this is not a lesson about making less money or giving up on your big career goals. Ambition is a great thing. Instead, we need to talk about the hidden trap of building your whole life around a bigger paycheck instead of true freedom. When you only chase a higher salary, you might actually be delaying the exact life you are trying to build. Let's look at why bigger paychecks can sometimes hold you back, and how you can finally break the cycle. Most people believe that a bigger paycheck will instantly wash away their money worries. But if you look at the data, that is rarely what actually happens. Studies show that as people earn more, their financial stress stays almost exactly the same. In fact, a huge number of people making six-figure salaries report that they still live paycheck to paycheck. This happens because of something called lifestyle inflation, which just means that your spending automatically grows right along with your income. The moment you get a raise, you buy a nicer car, move into a bigger apartment, or start eating at fancier restaurants. The real danger here is that your income rises, but your financial commitments grow even faster. You end up trapped by fixed monthly bills that you cannot easily escape. Suddenly, that bigger paycheck does not buy you more options. It actually buys you less freedom. You cannot take a lower-paying job that you might love more, and you cannot afford to take a few months off to rest. You have to keep working just to feed the lifestyle you built. When you look at the math over a whole lifetime, endlessly chasing raises without changing your habits carries a massive cost. You might earn millions of dollars over your career, but you will end up with very little savings to show for it. You trade away decades of your life for things that lose value, leaving yourself with no real freedom at the end of the road. Let's look at a realistic example to see how this happens. Imagine a professional named Sarah, who works hard and earns a strong salary of $100,000 a year. On paper, she is doing amazing. Her family and friends think she is highly successful, and she feels like she did everything right by going to college and climbing the career ladder. But if you look closely at her monthly bank statements, you will see a very different story. Sarah's big paycheck disappears almost as fast as it arrives. First, a huge chunk of her income goes straight to taxes before she even sees it. After that, her biggest monthly bill is housing. She pays a large mortgage for a nice house in a safe neighborhood. Next comes transportation. To get to her office, she drives a reliable, modern SUV that carries a heavy monthly car payment, plus expensive gas and insurance. Because she works long hours, childcare is another massive expense that eats up thousands of dollars every year. Then there are the smaller, hidden costs that add up quickly: health insurance, groceries, utilities, phone plans, and a handful of monthly streaming subscriptions that she barely has time to watch. Finally, she tries to do the responsible thing by putting a little bit of money into a retirement account and buying clothes, or occasionally eating out with friends. By the end of the month, after paying for all these normal things, Sarah looks at her account and realizes there is almost nothing left. She is not buying yachts or expensive jewelry, she is just living a standard middle-class life. Yet, she feels completely broke. Every single dollar has a job, and none of those dollars are staying in her pocket. This leaves her stuck with a scary, recurring question that controls every single career decision she makes. Can I afford to stop? Because her life costs so much to run, she knows she cannot pause for even a single month without everything falling apart. The true reason people get trapped in this cycle is something almost nobody wants to talk about. It is a concept called salary addiction. When you constantly chase higher pay, you are not just earning more money. You are actually creating a heavy dependency on a growing income. It works just like any other habit. The more you get, the more your lifestyle requires it to survive. You start to view a large paycheck as a basic necessity, rather than a tool for building a secure future. To break this down, we have to look at what a salary really is. It is not just income that goes into your pocket for you to keep. For most people, a salary is actually a lifestyle maintenance system. It is the fuel that keeps a giant machine running. That machine is made of your high rent, your car payments, your expensive memberships, and your daily habits. If the paycheck stops, the whole machine breaks down instantly. Because your life has become so expensive to maintain, you become completely dependent on your job just to keep your head above water. You are no longer working because you want to. You are working because you absolutely have to. This explains why most popular financial advice misses the mark completely. If you browse the internet or watch money videos, almost everyone focuses entirely on how to earn more. They tell you to ask for a raise, get a side hustle, or switch companies for a bigger paycheck. They focus on earning because it sounds exciting and it feels like progress. But they rarely talk about reducing your dependence on that income. Earning more money will never fix your financial stress if you immediately use that money to build a bigger, heavier machine. Until you learn how to live without needing every single dollar from your next paycheck, a higher salary will only act as a golden cage that keeps you trapped. Right now, you are probably thinking of a very common counter-argument, but earning more money is always better, right? It makes total sense to think this way. There is a very strong case to be made for maximizing your income as much as possible. After all, a larger paycheck gives you more raw capital to work with. If you make more money, you have the power to pay off your debts faster, invest in the stock market, or save up a massive emergency fund. Earning a high salary is undeniably one of the fastest ways to accelerate your wealth and build a secure future. That argument is completely true, but it comes with a major catch. Earning more money only works to your advantage if your expenses do not expand right along with your income. If you get a $10,000 raise, that money can help you build wealth, but only if you actually save or invest it. If you immediately use that extra cash to sign a lease on a more expensive apartment, the benefit vanishes instantly. Your income went up, but your financial freedom stayed exactly the same. You are just running faster on a treadmill that is moving faster too. This helps us define exactly when chasing a higher salary is beneficial, and when it turns into a dangerous trap. Chasing a higher salary is beneficial when you use that extra money to buy your freedom. This means using your raises to build a cushion of savings so you can eventually work less, start a business, or leave a stressful job. On the other hand, it becomes a trap the moment you use that extra money to upgrade your lifestyle before you have built a solid financial foundation. If your bills grow every time your paycheck grows, you are not actually getting richer. You are just building a fancier cage for yourself, and you will always be one missing paycheck away from a total financial disaster. Science helps explain exactly why our brains treat every single raise this way. Researchers use a term called hedonic adaptation, which is just a way of saying that humans get used to new things very quickly. When you get a big raise, your brain gets a sudden rush of excitement. You feel successful and happy. But scientific studies show that this good feeling disappears surprisingly fast. Within just a few months, your new, higher income stops feeling like an exciting bonus. Instead, it simply becomes your new normal. You completely adjust to the extra money, and you start expecting it every month just to feel comfortable. This brain trick is directly connected to why so many hardworking people suffer from high anxiety and burnout. Because your brain quickly normalizes your higher salary, you naturally start spending it on a more expensive lifestyle. Once those new, higher bills are locked in, you realize you cannot step back or take a career break without losing everything you built. This creates a constant background noise of stress. Even though you are earning more than you ever have before, you feel permanently behind, as if you are running as fast as you can just to stay in the exact same place. If you have fallen into this trap in the past, it is very important to realize that this is not a personal failure. You are not bad with money, and you are not lazy. Your past financial decisions were actually completely predictable reactions to how the human brain is wired. Society constantly tells us that more money equals more security, so when we get a raise, we naturally spend it to feel successful. But now that you understand how your brain adapts to these changes, you can stop blaming yourself for past mistakes. You can see the trap for what it is, and start making different choices to finally find real peace of mind. The most dangerous moment for your money happens right when you get a promotion or a raise. This is the exact moment when lifestyle inflation takes over, and your new earnings quietly disappear into a bigger home, a nicer car, expensive vacations, and endless monthly subscriptions. You do not even realize it is happening, because it feels like you are just rewarding yourself for your hard work. Suddenly, the extra money that was supposed to go into your savings account is completely spent before the month even ends. This happens because of two powerful psychological forces called identity matching and social comparison. When you get a higher job title or a bigger paycheck, your brain tells you that your lifestyle needs to match your new status. You look around at the other people in your new salary bracket and notice what they wear, what they drive, and where they live. If your coworkers drive luxury cars or send their kids to expensive private schools, you start to feel like you should do the same just to fit in. You compare your life to theirs, and without even thinking, You upgrade your spending so you can feel like you truly belong in that group. To see how dangerous this is, let's look at one concrete example of how a single lifestyle upgrade can cost you a fortune over time. Imagine you get a raise and decide to use it to buy a luxury SUV with a payment of $800 a month, instead of keeping your reliable older car. That might not seem like a big deal since you can afford the monthly payment right now. But if you had kept your old car and invested that $800 a month into the stock market instead, that single decision would grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars over 2 or 3 decades because of compound interest. By choosing the fancier car to match your new status, you are not just spending $800 a month today. You are actually trading away massive wealth and years of early retirement just to look successful right now. Instead of using your next raise to upgrade your lifestyle, you can choose to make a different decision. You can use that extra money to buy your financial freedom. Let's look at what happens when you take a fixed amount of money, like $1,000 a month from a raise, and invest it into the stock market rather than spending it on a nicer apartment or a luxury car. By choosing to save this money instead of letting your expenses grow, you kickstart a powerful wealth-building engine that changes your entire future. If you invest $1,000 every month, the results build up fast. After 5 years, you will have contributed $60,000 of your own money. But because your investments earn interest, your total balance will grow to nearly $75,000. By year 10, your personal contributions add up to $120,000, but your total investment pot climbs to around $175,000. This means your money has earned over $55,000 all by itself. If you keep going for 20 years, the numbers become truly life-changing. You will have put in $240,000 of your own cash, but your total wealth will rocket to over $550,000. When you separate your personal contributions from your investment growth, you see a stunning reality. Over 20 years, more than half of your total wealth did not come from your job or your hard work. It came from investment growth. This proves a vital rule that most people miss. Time, not a high salary, is responsible for the vast majority of long-term wealth. A person with a modest salary who starts investing early will easily end up richer than a person with a huge salary who spends everything they make. By refusing to inflate your lifestyle, you let time do the heavy lifting for you, turning your past raises into real, lasting freedom. Let's return one last time to those 2 different people sitting at home on Sunday night. At first, it looked like the calmer person must have a much higher salary or some kind of secret advantage. But now we know the truth. The calmer person did not necessarily earn more money than the stressed person. The real difference is that they simply needed less money to feel perfectly safe and secure. They chose to stop chasing a larger income just to fund a bigger lifestyle, and they started buying options instead. They understood that the ultimate form of wealth is not a luxury car, but the ability to wake up and do whatever you want with your day. If you want to leave the stress behind and build that exact same level of freedom, you can start today by taking 4 clear steps. First, you must define your enough number. This means figuring out exactly how much money you actually need to live a happy, comfortable life without endlessly reaching for more. Second, make a firm rule to save every future raise before you have a chance to spend it. The next time you get a promotion or a bonus, move that extra money straight into your investments before your brain can normalize the new income. Third, focus on reducing your fixed recurring expenses that force you to keep working. By lowering your monthly bills, you lower the pressure on your shoulders. Fourth, change the way you measure your success. Stop measuring your wealth by your annual salary and start measuring it by your years of freedom, meaning how many years you could survive comfortably if you stopped working right now. When you shift your focus from earning more to needing less, everything about your life changes. Sunday night stops feeling like a scary countdown to another exhausting work week that you cannot afford to miss. Instead, it becomes a peaceful reminder that you are back in control. Every single intentional choice you make with your money is not a sacrifice. It is a victory that buys back a little more of your time, your peace of mind, and your life. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe for practical, evidence-based personal finance and investing insights, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. I'd also love to hear from you. What are your thoughts or questions? Let me know in the comments below.